Yeah, I have a presentation at the middle school nearby that starts at 10. So I was like, if I can just sit here and take our commission meeting, that will cut my transit time and try to get in as much as possible before the end of this day.
That's perfect.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Okay, so I saw Maya just want to confirm that the live stream we're now streaming live. Is that right? Okay, thank you. All right, so being that it's at the top of the hour, aloha everybody. I call this meeting to order. Karan, can you please do the roll call?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Chair Allegado,
Present.
Vice Chair Keener,
Present.
Commissioner Otsuka,
Present.
Commissioner Romine.
Present.
Chair, we have quorum.
Great. So we're going to get started on our agenda. The first thing that we're going to have is a presentation on financial disclosure compliance for all city boards and commissions. And I believe we have Terry Kilipuleole to give us that presentation. So mahalo.
Aloha mai kako. Good morning. And I do have a very brief PowerPoint. I'll see if I can share screen right now. Okay. Perfect. So aloha mai kako. My name's Terry Kilipuleole, and I'm an associate legal counsel with the Honolulu Ethics Commission. First and foremost, just
Sorry, we're seeing your
the backside.
your notes. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Let me do this. Hold on one second. Let me pull this down. Like, I don't know why it won't let me get out of this mode. Okay, I'll just go along with this front one because for some reason it's not letting me access my PowerPoint not in Zoom. And I don't know why. I didn't have this problem yesterday. So my apologies. I'll just go through this screen if that's okay. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so perfect. So thank you so much for having us here today. It's just going to actually be a brief presentation on financial disclosures. And the large part of why I'm here today is actually because we've made it our really lofty goal for 2024 to try to get 100% compliance for financial disclosure filings. And unfortunately and historically, we've only actually proceeded to enforcement against board and commission members for failing to file financial disclosures on that annual basis. So as part of our attempt to reach this goal, we are going to be popping up onto all boards and commissions, if they would so have us, to do this very gentle reminder of our upcoming filing period. Okay, and so we'll just do a quick agenda today. It's just go over some brief FAQs, most importantly, the due dates that you should know throughout the course of your officership, how to submit, and hopefully some good news on the horizon with developments for our submission process for financial disclosures, and then wrapping it up with penalties. Okay, so first and foremost, just to kind of get us into the universe of financial disclosures, some frequently asked questions. The first one being, are board and commission members required to file financial disclosures? And yes, it's that board and commission members are considered city officers, and that city officership is what's going to pull you within the ambit of needing to file. And why are they important? Why do we put this very strong emphasis on financial disclosures? It really assists with public trust in government, and it also helps the individual filers with identifying potential conflicts of interest to avoid those throughout the course of your officership and making sure you're making the appropriate disclosures and recusals when necessary. And if you have any questions related to conflicts of interest, please feel free to reach out to us as well for assistance with that. And then lastly, for board and commission members, are my financial disclosures confidential? We get this question probably the most out of all three. And yes, financial disclosures for board and commission members are different from certain members of the city, and that would be certain officers and certain employees that actually have public filings that are posted to the city clerk's website that any member from the public could go and access and look at. For our financial disclosures for board and commissioners, that's actually held within the Honolulu Ethics Commission. We keep those on record and on file for us for any purpose that we may need. If you need consultation with conflicts of interest to be the receptacle, as well as if there are any potential investigations in the future. Okay, and this is the bread and butter of why I'm here today. It's the important due dates to know and to mark your calendars for. The first one, assuming everyone has already completed, was the initial. So that's 20 days from your swear-in date. That's the first time that you'd have to be required to submit a financial disclosure. The next is your annual and ongoing. So throughout the entire course of your officership, this form is going to be due every January 31st. The nuance with this form is that the filing period is going to begin on January 1st, closing on January 31st, because the information that you're filing for your annual is the preceding calendar year. So this is kind of one of those situations where early bird does not get the worm. If you're trying to file in December, say you have a vacation in January, and you want to try to get something in December, that form unfortunately is an account for the prior year. So you want to make sure January 1st is when the forms will become available and that you can begin to file for the preceding calendar year. And then the final and last financial disclosure you'd be submitting is going to be 10 days prior to leaving office. Okay, and currently, how do you submit your financial disclosure form? Currently, it is an old-fashioned print, paper, and mail system that we have, or email. You can access the form on our website. We tried to make our website user-friendly such that when you go to our homepage at honolulu.ethics, on the left side of the screen, there's going to be a tab specific for board and commission members. When you click on that tab, it'll take you to a home page for board and commission members. And at the very top is going to be the financial disclosure form. You just click that, print it out, fill it out, and then send it to us via either email or snail mail. And we wanted to go over this process, even despite the fact that we have some great potential news on the horizon. On January 1st of next year, it's anticipated, it's about a 90% chance, so more likely than not, that we're going to have a new electronic submission process for financial disclosures. And we're getting assurances because this is actually a DIT-owned database. They're in the process of kind of doing the final touches on this before rollout January 1st. So we're being very assured that this will be what happens and what goes live January 1st. So if and when this does, we will no longer be accepting the paper submissions. But where it's actually going to be housed is on the hnl.info page. That's already an existing page. On that page, you can get like some park permits, register for, I think, traffic notifications and whatnot, but there'll be a tab within that for financial disclosures. And if you wanted to get a head start, you could already go and create an account for yourself with your user, create a user and password and kind of play around on the site to get yourself ready for the January 1st rollout. And when it does, we've already seen some preliminary kind of looks of the site, and it's very much like a TurboTax. So you'll be inputting your financial information like a TurboTax site that, to be able to move on to the next page, you have to fill everything out on each page before proceeding to the next. And then there should be some auto population in there too. We know in the past, people have had issues with kind of finding the TMK for their properties and whatnot. So there should be some auto population within to help you get a little bit more of that nuanced information for your financial disclosure. And as we get more information, confirmation that this is going to happen and go live, and that would include any guides and handouts to take you kind of through step-by-step instructions, we'll make sure to get that over to your ASO and to you so that you're prepared to use the site. But nevertheless, if this does in fact roll out and you experience any issues with it, we know sometimes new systems, there could be some kinks or it doesn't run smoothly. Please feel free to reach out to us or your ASO. And then lastly, not that we ever want to go here, but unfortunately, like I said, historically, we have proceeded to enforcement against board and commission members. It's not something that we like to do, noting that these are, you guys are in volunteer positions, and we really appreciate all the hard work and public service that you are doing. So we really, and that's why we have our big goal for January 31st, 2024, to not have to go down this route. But just for awareness, the penalties for failing to file your financial disclosure, it is a sliding scale for fines. So if you fail to file your financial disclosure within 10 days of receiving a notice of alleged violation, it's basically a complaint that we would send to you via mail. If you don't file your financial disclosure with 10 days of receipt of that, it's $100. It would be $100 fine. The second time it would be $200, and then the fines start to stack. The tricky part, though, is even if you're a first time failure to file, you receive the notice, and if you don't file within 30 days, the potential penalty for that is a fine upwards of $5,000. I'm not saying we've ever done that before, nor do we want to, but just to be aware of the penalties. And lastly, there is a potential criminal penalty as well. To my knowledge, the Honolulu Ethics Commission has never enforced that. I don't anticipate a situation in which we would, but just as awareness, it is out there that there is a potential criminal penalty for failing to file. And then that just wraps up the presentation, because mostly we're here just as a reminder for this upcoming deadline of January 31st. And I also wanted to make a plug for our additional services that we do provide. A large part of what we do provide are requests for advice. That's free legal advice regarding our standards of conduct law. So that could be conflicts of interest, preferential treatment, misuse of city resources, and the like, just to name a few. It's a confidential inquiry. You can reach out to us at any time, even if you have a meeting upcoming, maybe in a few hours. We really try to get back to you as soon as possible with our advisement or guidance on that. There are two ways that are best to reach us. It's either going to be by email or by phone, and you'll be directed to an attorney of the day who'll be able to assist you with your inquiry. And if for some reason it just so happens not to fall within our jurisdiction, we will, point you in the right direction. But it's a service that we provide. It's available to you. It's free. It's confidential. So please feel free to reach out to us anytime. And so with that, I just wanted this brief presentation to mark your calendars for January 31st, and I will close out my presentation if anyone has any questions.
Mahalo. Kiana has a question. Commissioner Otsuka?
Yes.
Hi, Terry.
Hi.
I'm pretty sure someone from the Ethics Commission emailed me last year reminding me to fill out my form. So I'm pretty sure I'm up to date, but I wanted to know, would we be able to look somewhere, or do we have to email you folks directly to make sure that we've submitted our financial disclosure form
Yeah. So we
from
actually,
previous years?
Yeah, of course. So we have a repository of all your forms. So if you wanted to double check with us that you did file, or even for this upcoming, if moving on to the electronic system, it's obviously going to be fresh. You'll be having to input your information for the first time. So if you wanted to have us send over a copy of last year's financial disclosure to be able to help you with inputting next year's, we can do that as well too. We understand this, the new electronic system may be a little difficult to navigate at first. So yeah, definitely reach out to us. And if you didn't receive a complaint from us, then you would have, that should be certification that you filed last year. So you should be good. But definitely we would have all the copies of your prior filings, and you can reach out to us at any time, and we can provide that copy to you. And speaking of reminders, we will be sending out email reminders. So we'll be sending that in February as we're gearing up for the January 1st filing, January 1st opening of the filing period. And then again, we'll send another email reminder as that January 31st approaches. So hopefully those email reminders will also kind of be a friendly reminder to everyone to get that in.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Romine, I thought I saw a hand raise. Is that correct?
You did, but Terry just answered my question about the email reminders. So thank you, Terry.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Vice Chair Keener, do you have any questions?
Nope, sounds good. And I look forward to new improved systems.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And my apologies for the PowerPoint snafu.
No problem at all. Thank you for making the time. Certainly, we really believe in, being very ethical, and so we appreciate the time that you make, and we, on our part, will do our best so that we can help meet the 100% compliance goal, for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Okay, at this time, we're going to move on to our next agenda item, which I believe is the report on the activities for the Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency. Director Gonzer is
Rosie,
yes.
sorry to interrupt. Do you want to ask if there are public comments on the ethics agenda item?
Sure. I think
guess.
that Terry might have stepped off the call, but I can. Yes. Are there any? Yes, that's true. Are there any comments or public testimony from the public on this agenda item? Okay. Seeing none, thank you, Vice Chair, for reminding me. We're going to go on to our next agenda item, which is report on the activities of OCCSR. Director Gonzer is out of town this week. And so I believe, Ben, are you giving the report this week?
Yes, Chair. Thank you very much. Ben Sullivan, Deputy Director for the Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, Resiliency. Happy to be here reporting to the Commission on the activities of the Resilience Office for the last month. Director Gonzer, as you noted, has been out on travel and is due back next week. So we've got some exciting updates. I'll try to be brief. The first update is really important and one that the Commission is very familiar with. The Climate Ready Oahu adaptation strategy is coming into its final round of community engagement and comment period. And so we have a tremendous amount of outreach happening in the next several weeks. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Give me a moment to do that. Hopefully everyone can see my screen at this point. But basically we have one major open house in Hauula on November 13th from 6:30 to 8. And so this is similar to a lot of other public events that we've hosted where we're seeking really specific and detailed comment and engaging people on the strategies and the actions described in Climate Ready Oahu. And then we have a whole series of additional tabling events around the island, which also offer opportunity for people to engage in comment, but are really a representation of us as an office going to the community as opposed to hosting our own event and bringing people into it, which tends to be, as you all know, very sometimes challenging in terms of who shows up and how we engage them. So these events are really designed for the general public to understand what we're up to, why it's important. And then if we get their interest, we're able to communicate with them more information about why these activities are so important and how they can engage further. So as you can see here on the map of events, we have 10 different events all around the island, and the team is really pitching in and putting out a lot of effort to get all these staffed and resourced. And so here's another list, and it's primarily farmers markets, but also some craft fairs. And I can't say enough about how much work's going into this and how excited we are. Really, this project has been ongoing for well over a year, and it's a very, very important piece of our office's work. And we thank the Commission for all the involvement up to date and guidance we've gotten to this point. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Let me see if I can actually just I see. Thank you. Switching over to some other, whoops. I think I have the same challenge as everyone, just too many monitors in front of me and trying to manage it. Okay, here we go. So as I noted, Director Gonzer and 2 additional team members are out of the office. One of the events they're attending is the Urban Sustainability Directors Network in New Orleans. So really, really exciting organization that we have been a member of for quite a long time. The Urban Sustainability Directors Network is a network of exactly that: urban sustainability directors, climate resilience officers, and the like, that work nationwide in collaboration with each other to share challenges and help accelerate the work. So some of the sessions from that I thought were really exciting and noteworthy. Developing community resilience hubs was one of the conversations and sessions. Accelerating nature-based solutions in urban settings, so had some expertise and discussion on that. Building capacity to win and deploy U.S. federal funding, so a critical issue for all of us, as most are well aware. And then finally, of the many other sessions they had, another one that was noteworthy and relevant to your agenda today was finding relief from extreme heat with your community. So lots of very, very pertinent information being shared with our team and learnings going on there. Another update is on the pursuit of federal funding. And so as I think Director Gonzer has reported previously, we are very interested and engaged in the climate pollution reduction grant process with the EPA. We were awarded a $1 million planning grant back in July. That award was received, and we have been working away, and we'll actually be adding additional staff capacity as a result of that grant, as well as engaging in planning activities for our next climate action plan update, which will begin next spring. Lots of other exciting things, but another noteworthy aspect of the CPIRG process is the phase 2 grants, which open up the opportunity to apply for over $4 billion in federal funding and are eligible through state and municipalities across the country. This application is due on April 1st, and we have made the decision to collaborate with and put in a joint application with the state. So that's working with the State Climate Commission as well as with the Hawaii State Energy Office to put that application in. It's our anticipation that the State Energy Office will be issuing an RFI in the next few weeks for interested partners across the community to engage and to propose ideas for consideration of that application. So we're very, very excited there. Another update that I wanted to offer is that the office has had some transition, and we've gotten some great new people on board, and we've had some wonderful people who decided to go in different directions, but we are currently seeking candidates and on a rolling basis for the energy program manager position, which was the role I was in previous to stepping into the deputy director role. We are seeking a food security and sustainability program manager. As you all know, Dexter Kashida, who did a wonderful job in that role for our office, has moved to the deputy director of the State Department of Agriculture. So an ally still for us, but in a different role, and we're trying to fill that spot. We're trying to fill a climate action and mobility specialist position. And then finally, as I mentioned previously, the grant from EPA is funding us for 3 to 4 years with a climate action coordinator. So we're very excited about that position as well to really help do a lot of the coordination on that grant and support a lot of robust outreach and engagement, as well as some really good planning for that critical next 5 years of our climate action plan. A couple of other notes. The benchmarking program, the building benchmarking program, which had its inaugural year of reporting, just passed on July 30th as the deadline, is really picking up momentum. We have a new performance platform called Touchstone IQ that is really helping that program to robustly engage building owners and do a better job tracking and getting the information to those people as well as possible. We're also continuing to work with utilities to streamline this process. So as you know, building benchmarking is a critical piece of trying to reduce emissions in the building sector. And it's, you know, as simple as it may sound, it ends up being a fairly complicated thing to try to get all the way through the stream of connections to find the right folks at a building who are able to perform the task and get the information put into EPA's portfolio manager. So we're really excited about the progress there. We've got about 70% of buildings reporting in the first year at that 100,000 and above, and we continue to seek out the other 30% and try to make those connections. And then we are in the process of developing scorecards and recommendations for those buildings, because really the most important thing about benchmarking is what do you do with the information? And so we're really happy about the progress there. There's plenty of other great things going on, but I'm going to stop there. I know you have a busy agenda, so just wanted to say thank you and happy to take any questions if appropriate.
Thank you, Ben. Commissioner Otsuka.
Hi, Ben. I had a couple of questions, or one question, one comment. The first, I wanted to learn more about how your office chose which site to do your outreach for Climate Ready Oahu, and make the suggestion that if you could add one more event, you add one on the Waianae Coast. So there's the Waianae Makeke every Saturday that's put on by the Waianae Coast Comprehensive Health Center. It's a really well-attended farmers market. I've done an outreach event there, and by suggestion of the coordinator, they suggested to come on the first Saturday of the month because that's when they distribute SNAP benefits. So we were looking to engage specifically folks on like lower income sort of scale. So that's a suggestion. And then there's also a great farmers market. I think it's Wednesday evenings at the Nana Kuli Public Library. So I was just curious how you chose sites, and if you could, oh, you do have Makeke Wine. I'm sorry, I missed that.
No, it's okay.
Thank you, Ben. Sorry.
Briefly. Not at all. I only had it up briefly, so I just wanted to put that up again for a moment and just make you aware that we do have some Waianae events. So really appreciate the comment. And certainly, I think the team thought hard and long about how to make sure we're getting to everybody. And so again, that map shows the coverage, and I'm happy to leave that up for a moment while someone else maybe asks an additional question.
Can I ask my second question while that's up, or my second comment
Please
slash
do,
question?
please do. Yes.
You mentioned that Matt is talking to folks about nature-based solutions, and I just want to make sure you folks are aware of and connected to the State Climate Commission. So they're currently working, actually, Brad, I think you're helping with this project, but they're looking at potential nature-based solutions in Honolulu, right off of Kamehameha Highway. And they're looking to choose sort of community-supported nature-based solutions to help with erosion happening in the road sort of going into the ocean. So I wanted to make sure you're aware of that. Brad, do you want to add anything? I don't want to put you on the spot.
I think I've shared that project with folks at the Resilience Office, or Leah has as well. I think we also are closely connected with the Department of Parks and Recreation as well on that, being that it's a parks facility. So working closely with them on that. Thanks, Kiana.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
Great. Do any of the other commissioners have questions? Brad or Vicky?
None at this time. Thank you, Ben, for the update. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you,
you all.
Ben, for the update. Rosie, I know that we had wanted to talk about how the commission could engage potentially at the tabling events. Do we want to raise that issue now, or
We have an agendized item specifically for next tentative meeting dates, and I thought we could
Okay.
discuss it at that point in time, which is like very close to now. I
Yeah.
think as soon as we get through our updates on the urban heat guidance, we can return to that. So yeah, I would say let's hold off on that. I'm going to hold off my question with regards to that too, but Ben, I have a question with regard to the building benchmark program. I'm really excited that you have 70% of buildings reported. Do you have a sense of like, if there is, I mean, did you do any kind of gap analysis to like identify like, is there a specific category of building that you're getting like, that you can target for that last 30%?
So we haven't done the gap analysis yet, but it's definitely something that's on our list, which is, we suspect that it's a particular typology, and most likely that it's condominium buildings, because that's been the sector that's been the most challenging to engage. As you can imagine, there's some HOAs that have building managers and property managers and others that don't. And so we are looking at the different categories to see where the performance has fallen. But we just continue to promote the program. I think one of the important notes here is that we are not taking a punitive approach in this first year whatsoever, although the ordinance does allow that. Our approach has been very much about helping these building owners and getting the word out that, hey, this is a fairly simple process. It is a little bit confusing the first time. You've got to use this online tool. You've got to navigate some of these utility relationships and figure out who's paying your bills. And so there's simple things, but a lot to it, surprisingly. But no, gap analysis has not been done yet, but it is pending.
Great. Yeah, I was just thinking, of course, that might help in your finding them and your outreach to really make that specific. And then my sense is that this building benchmark program is specifically with an eye towards energy usage and greenhouse gas emissions. Is that correct?
It's energy and water usage.
Water usage.
Yeah.
Okay,
so we're
great.
really happy to add that in, and that's not something that all municipalities do, but very excited about that.
I guess just with respect to the next agenda item, which is urban heat, I was just wondering if there was any, if this building benchmark has the ability to build. I know I don't want to make it more onerous or more, put more work on the buildings, but if we can also, I'm just thinking ahead to the future, and it's looking like it's going to be a warm winter, and kind of thinking about what are other metrics that we can capture at the same time.
So that's a great question. And we have a lot of aspirations for how we can build on the benchmarking program, which is really just a foundational step into existing buildings. So I think Director Gonzer reported to you all that we had a project starting, I think it might have been last month, that he reported a collaboration or a consultant work project with VEIC. And VEIC is the consultant for their affordable green housing retrofit program, which we really see as something that steps off of the benchmarking program and offers resources to all those multi-unit housing across the island, particularly or exclusively, really not just publicly affordable, but in the lower cost range of affordability for residents. And one of the issues that we've noted for that is that related directly to urban heat is that a lot of buildings don't have air conditioning at all, and because historically they haven't needed it. But we're beginning to recognize that even though it's not an energy savings, it's really a necessity from a resilience standpoint for some buildings to gain access to that. And looking at what are the retrofit requirements, how do we accommodate the needs in these buildings so people can be safe and comfortable in their homes.
Thank you. I can see that that would definitely have a feed forward with their energy usage as well. Commissioner Keener?
Thanks, Rosie. Yeah, so I was just looking at my notes again, Ben, and on those topics at the Urban Sustainability Directors Network meeting that you mentioned, they're all so topical, really good. But I wanted to ask more about the Community Resilience Hubs project and how that's playing out for Oahu thus far. Like, I know the Hau'ula one is maybe the most far along, but I was wondering if you can update us generally on what's going on the island.
So our long-term disaster recovery specialist, Sarah Harris, is doing a lot of work on that project. And unfortunately, I don't have the most recent update, but I know that the effort that was surrounding really looking at other communities and who might organize around resilience hubs and how might we move that forward has progressed significantly. And I think the work is probably wrapping up on that. So I would have to get back to the commission with an additional report if that's okay, because I personally am not as involved and I wouldn't be able to offer anything more specific than that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, and maybe something that we could bring up on a latter meeting. Since I know the long-term disaster recovery plan is wrapping up around now, and there's just a working group meeting looking for final input on the report. So maybe once that comes out, it would be really helpful to have both a presentation on that report to the commission, as well as kind of a deeper look into the Community Resilience Hubs project.
That's a great suggestion. I've taken the note. Thank you.
Are there any other comments from commissioners? Otherwise, I'll open it to any questions or comments from the public. Okay. Please feel free to raise your virtual Zoom hand or just come off mute and recognize yourself so we can have it for our minutes. That just applies now and forever in the future. If not, thank you so much, Ben, for reporting. I am always consistently impressed with how much progress and activity that OCCSR does. It makes me very proud to be on this commission to see how proactive the office is. So I just want to continue to commend everybody, and I'm really excited that you have these positions open to continue to be doing the good work. And thank you, Kiana, for asking for the links, because I also try to promote and really push that forward as well. So mahalo. Okay, so we're rolling right along. I'm excited because I wanted both Commissioner Otsuka and Commissioner Romine to be able to talk about this issue and be present. And we're moving on to our fifth agenda item, which is this discussion of the urban heat guidance document. We have been working on this together as a collective for a while now, but I think that it's really important to get all of the opinions and from our stakeholders and rights holders. I know that you have put out a survey. I don't know if you've gotten it back. I just want to pass it on to you folks to give an update.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, I'll start since Kiana's kind of in transit there. Yeah, I have some positive news to report. I'm gonna make this brief, but we have completed the survey and the review process and received a number of pieces of feedback on that. And we're currently compiling those, kind of assessing them at this time. And the plan moving forward is to make revisions to the document based on the comments received, and with a goal of presenting kind of the pre-final document to the commission at a November meeting if scheduled. So moving along with that, we're really trying to finish it up this fall. And I think our intention with presenting that final document would be an overview presentation like we've done with other recent guidance documents. And we could also include a a brief summary of some of the feedback received in that review process as well. So that's where we stand. Yeah, I guess a little more details about that process, and maybe somebody can provide some clarification that if we're on the right track with this. But I think if I understand correctly, we can make edits in the coming few weeks to the document based on the reviews received, and then provide that updated document to the city resilience office and commission, as long as it's a week prior and can get it on the agenda. And then we would look to the commissioners over that week prior to the meeting to review it again. And then we do any more editing live through that live editing process in the meeting. And hopefully, ideally, try to get it finalized and accepted in that meeting, that next meeting. That's where we stand. Happy to take any questions, Kiana. I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that. Oh, before we go, before I hand it over, I do want to thank Robert Park and Kara Neal for their ongoing help in finalizing the document. So thank you both.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Otsuka, do you have any further comments?
Nope, that's great. Thank you, Brad.
Yeah.
Great. That is so positive to hear. I know that the urban heat document has kind of gone through a lot of changes, but I really do feel that they are in the right direction of where they need to be. And also, I'm really glad that we took the time to really be true to our ethics and equity pledge to get stakeholder feedback. And so I think that was such a valuable part of the process. And again, thank you to Robert Park and Kara Neal for finalizing the survey, and to everybody for really working to do that. And then as we move into incorporating in the brief. And so as far as the timing, you're absolutely correct that we should be, I would like to look for, I'm thinking like a very late November or early December date. I feel like Vicky did, well, okay, that is actually the next agenda item. So I'm going to hold on that for like 2 minutes, but the general idea is we'll find that date and then subtract 1 week. And that's when you get your draft that has the incorporated changes in with us. The office staff will send it out to us appropriately for sunshine. We'll have that week to make any corrections. We'll bring it all back to the collective, and then we'll make final changes. And hopefully with those changes, we will feel comfortable. If they're not substantive, we can pass it that day. If they're major, we'll hold it off till the next meeting. But it's my hope that we will be able to, there's always going to be some minor edits, I feel like, but I hope they're minor and not substantive, and so we can pass it. Once that happens, which is woohoo, I just want to say the follow-up process is we write a letter of transmittal to the mayor and share that out. Commissioner Otsuka.
Hey, Rosie, I just wanted to share one comment we got on the process from one of our stakeholders that sort of relates to future guidance documents. My understanding of the comment, and Brad, please chime in, was that this person was hoping to have more stakeholder meetings on the front end when developing the guidance document rather than sort of asking on the back end. So I just wanted to add that to sort of discussion now moving forward when we do guidance documents, if we want to consider changing our process to be kind of stakeholder engagement on the front end rather than the back end.
Yeah, that is a great idea. And something that we can even think about is maybe like, as we did when you guys first joined the commission, we had as an agendized item, like what is our process? Maybe it's a good time for us to agendize that and just kind of think about what is our process again. Commissioner Keener?
Yeah, no, thanks for that comment, Kiana. And I think that we have not been super consistent about that. And for some of our guidance documents, we have done engagement on the front end. And for some, it's been very on the back end. So having like a more consistent process that we agree on, I think is always better, especially when that makes it more, inclusive and able to get input earlier on.
That's really great feedback. Yeah. I'm definitely thinking about agendizing it for our next meeting. Okay, with that in mind, are there any questions or comments or testimony from the public on this particular item, which is the urban heat guidance document? And of course, maybe it's a good idea to invite our stakeholders to these meetings so that they can continue to provide guidance throughout the process. If they can't come to one, they know that it's going to be, like once a month, they can come and give some guidance there. So that's also something to consider.
Yeah, and definitely maybe to reach out during the meeting in which the results are presented to the larger commission and public, and we take final feedback before we go to a vote.
For sure. Shannon, you still have your hand raised. Do you have another question?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to very quickly add that was Brad and I were planning to do that for the urban heat guidance document. So we had a really large stakeholder list, but we didn't hear back from everybody. So our plan is once the agenda has been set and mailing has gone out, is to forward the meeting information to all stakeholders on our list and invite them to come to the meeting in case they do want to provide any sort of feedback.
That sounds great. There's a couple ways to do it. One is, I know Karan, when she issues the agenda, if you have already ready the email list, I think Karan could just copy paste that into the BCC list. The other is, and I know this is sometimes more effective, is if a commissioner invites people to come, that is also, I found to be pretty effective, a direct ask. So I think either way is a good approach. All right. Good stuff. Okay. The next item on our agenda is discussion on the next tentative meeting dates. We had already kind of had that discussion, so I kind of want to invite Mr. Sullivan, or I don't know if he's still on the call. Oh yeah, Ben Sullivan, yes. Please feel free to chime in on this discussion as well. So again, we have been discussing for a very long time. It's been one of the things that has been an issue that I've wanted to do, is to really bring the commission to the public. And so I think these tabling events may be one of our opportunities. Certainly OCCSR will have their own table, but I think remember that per sunshine, we can have up to 2 commission members. We could even have like a little commission table with all of our guidance documents, and we can talk. I believe that November 13th has been definitely kind of designated as an opportunity that we were looking for commissioner participation. And so I believe we are welcome to come to others, but we have to be mindful of that. Ben, can you clarify?
Yeah, that's my understanding as well. So the other events are definitely scaled down, and there's a lot of other activities going on. So typically farmers markets, craft fairs, we will be tabling, but certainly we'd welcome commissioners to join us at those events and really be part of the discussion and hear what kind of comments we get and what the engagement is like. As far as the Hau'ula event, certainly welcome 2 commissioners per sunshine, and whatever the commission decides on who might attend that event would be welcome.
Commissioner Otsuka, I know you're en route. I wanted to know if you might be available on November 13th to attend this Hau'ula. I'm just getting like an attendance, like who might be able to go.
Let me double check. I'm flying in from the continent on that day, but I don't know what time. I think I get in too late. I'll double check right now. Hold on. Let me look.
Shucks. Okay. Commissioner Romine, are you able to attend on the 13th?
What time is that event that day?
It's 6:30 to 8 p.m.
Evening. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, where is that one happening again?
It's Hau'ula. Ben, you're
Hau'ula.
muted.
Sorry, Hau'ula Community Center. Yes.
I may be able to. I do have an all-day site visit on the North Shore that day, so could maybe come down the windward side, but tentatively available, let's say.
Okay, Brad, you might be the sole person who might be able to go to this, because I am also going to be on the continent that day, and I believe Vicky is also on the continent that day.
I'm coming back on Tuesday, the 14th.
I'm coming back on Tuesday the 14th also. Oh, and Kiana gets in at 9 p.m. That night. So, Brad, we are begging you to please hold it down for us. We promise to prepare materials for you. I'm working with Robert Parker, our intern, and perhaps he can also be present and help you table that event, but we'll see.
Okay, just bring me into the loop, any communications on that, and I'll keep checking on that evening availability.
Great. I did want to say that I can commit to attending the Makeke Waianae. Like if we can have an extra commission table, I'm happy to sit, or I can sit with OCCSR. I'm happy to attend that. Because I would like to just kind of get a sense of the of how it works, how everything works at the outreach. Is that okay, Ben?
Chair, you'd be welcome to attend. I don't know whether we're able to accommodate additional tables. The staff made arrangements and did have to coordinate in advance to get all the spots. But please do feel welcome to attend.
Okay, I'll roll in with my own folding chair. Oh, and Kiana would be able to be present. So I guess if it's possible, if you can ask, if we could just have like one table and two chairs. I can even bring my own table. I have folding tables and chairs. So I'm like I'm very like familiar with outreach events. If there's a space and we can just come sit next to you guys, that would be great.
Not having the details, I'm just going to say, let's make it work. We're very excited that you want to participate.
Okay, great. And Kiana, I'm very excited that you've indicated that you would be available on the 18th. So Ben, if you can just like loop in, I guess, however sunshine compliant on those dates so that we can just make sure that we are coordinating with you. Sorry, the 15th, yeah? The Makeke Waianae, that's the one.
So just to confirm, Commissioner Roman for the Hau'ula event, and then yourself and Commissioner Otsuka for the event on the 15th in Waianae.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, Commissioner Otsuka.
Oh, Ben, if you can let me know, or can you send the dates? Because I'd like to join for more if I can. I'd be keen to come sit with you folks and learn more and talk to our community members. That'd be great.
Yeah, me too. I'll just try and come to whatever I can, and like don't worry about like making sure there's a table for me. Like I said, I'll just bring my own folding chair and just hang out.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Same, yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, and then given that there may be the need for a, even though that is like a gathering, it's not an official meeting of the commission, we tend to hold the last Fridays of the month. However, in November, the last Friday of November is the 24th, which is the day after Thanksgiving. And so I wanted to ask how people felt about Friday, December 1st. And Kiana, you have your hand up again.
Sorry, that was from before. I'll lower it.
Okay. I did want to ask if this is kind of like breaking with our normal last Friday, given that as we move towards the end of the year, the holidays tend to be towards the end of the month. Does Friday, December 1st, for one of this format, regular online meeting, does that work for at least 3 of us?
That works for me.
Same.
It looks good for me, and would appreciate the extra week to finalize the urban heat document. So thank you.
Okay, yeah, I know that the week after that is, I mean, selfishly, it's a really busy day for people at Manoa because it's a day when, well, at least there's a Sea Grant symposium and it's the day after class, so all of the undergraduates have symposia and are presenting. So December 8th does not work. Okay, so I'll work with Karan to calendar December 1st for one of our regular commission meetings on this format. And at that time, one of our goals will be to like to launch our urban heat document. So I'm very, very excited about that. Okay. Any comments or questions from the public with regard to our tentative meeting dates? So we're looking at December 1st. And then we're also looking at Commissioner Otsuka and I hanging out a bunch for in November. So for those of you out in the public, if you want to come talk story with us and learn about Climate Ready Oahu, please come out to all these events. I guess the final thing I would say with regard to that, Ben, is please send out lots of social media. I'm very excited to share social media posts on the upcoming meetings around Oahu. And I think you've done a really good job at selecting areas that are a very good representation of all of the demographics of the island.
Thank you, Chair. Noted, and that is underway.
Great. Our next agenda item, moving right along, is communications and correspondence from the public. We did not receive any ahead of time, but this is a great opportunity for anybody who is online to either on the Facebook streaming live or here currently to provide any testimony on anything. Okay, seeing none, we're moving on to our next agenda item, which is public input for matters not on the agenda. Okay, commissioners, do you have any other input for matters not on the agenda? Okay.
Nothing from me. Oh,
yeah, Kiana.
I was saying nothing from me. Sorry.
Oh, okay, great. And then our penultimate agenda item is announcements. Do any of you have announcements for any upcoming events? I have one, but I like to let other people go first. Okay, so I just wanted to share that the annual World Town Planning Day event, which is organized by the Department of Urban and Regional Planning, is coming up, and it is going to be, actually, it's very soon. I just lost the email. It is going to be on Thursday, November 9th at the Architecture Auditorium at UH Manoa, and it's really relevant to our current urban heat document. It's going to be all about, you know, frequent and prolonged heat waves that have been making headlines. Heat is considered the deadliest weather-related hazard in the United States, and this year's planning day will focus on urban heat resilience, planning, policy, and design to mitigate and manage heat. So I think it's a great idea if any of our commissioners are able to attend that. The keynote speaker is Dr. Ladd Keith, who's Assistant Professor of Planning and Sustainable Built Environments at the Udall Center for Studies in Public Policy at the University of Arizona. And there's also a panel with Daniel Donnell, President of Trees for Honolulu's Future, Haley Campbell, Climate Adaptation Specialist from our own OCCSR, and it's going to be moderated by Cody Winchester, who's a planner with Group 70 International. So I think that perhaps this might be a good venue to get some informal feedback about our urban heat document if people are able to attend that. Yeah, so I hope that you can go. And Vicky, do you want to say your comment out loud?
Sure. Just the keynote speaker, Ladd. He's one of the researchers in one of our sister programs to the Pacific RISA, the CLEMAS CAP RISA program in the Desert Southwest.
Yeah, so I think this is a really relevant and timely event, especially given the activities of this commission. Really encourage everybody to go. All right, any additional, yes, Commissioner Romine.
Thank you, Chair, for sharing that. I did receive an email announcement about that event, and I plan to attend. What I haven't seen is do you know if registration is required? Does anybody have a URL to that event? So far, I've only received like an e-flyer by email. If you have, please share in the chat.
I cannot see any registration. So to my knowledge, it looks like it's totally open to the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Kara notes that last year we didn't have to register, so it looks like registration is not necessary. And again, it's at the Architecture Auditorium at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Okay, so we've reached the end of our.
I'll do one more announcement please. Of an upcoming event, and I'll announce this for Brad. I just got a text from Darren that the Marine and Coastal Scientists as Artists opening at Arts at Mark's Garage is on Friday, November 3rd, and that's a Sea Grant event featuring 30 artists from 8 universities and colleges in Hawaii.
Yes, that's wonderful. So I totally forgot to announce that as well. That is my bad. Thank you, Vicky, for that reminder. Any other events that we should know about in the next month, other than, of course, the Climate Ready Oahu workshops, which we'll all be going to? Okay, well, we have reached the end of our agenda, and if there are no further comments, this meeting is adjourned.